Hello guys, how are you? I'm Maddie, I'm a 25-year-old living in London, and if you can't tell, I love solo traveling. So much so that I have been on over 10 solo trips in the past 3 years. And on those trips, I've learned a lot of lessons, tips, and hacks that I want to share with you in this video to hopefully make your first or next solo trip a little bit easier. I'm such a big ambassador for solo travel because truly solo travel has changed my life. It's given me so much confidence knowing how much I can actually do by myself. I feel so much more independent now. I have also developed an openness to experience that I didn't used to have before, and overall just feel like such a better version of myself than before I started. So honestly think everyone should solo travel at least once in their life because it's such a character building moment. Whoever you are, if you have the opportunity to go solo travel, please do. But that being said, solo travel, especially solo traveling as a woman, does come with some challenges and just some things you kind of need to be prepared of and know how to handle once you're there. So that's what this video is all about. We're gonna cover tips before you go, staying safe, actually traveling, how to actually be alone on your trip, and staying safe while doing so. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting out, let's talk about a few tips to know before you go. And my first tip here is slowly getting used to being alone before you venture off on a solo trip. And the reason I say this is it will make your trip so much easier if you actually feel a little bit comfortable doing things on your own before you venture off to a whole new country or a whole new place. I personally didn't do this, and because of that, I kind of had the shock of one, being in a new country all by myself, and the shock of, oh my god, I'm by myself, I've never done this before, all at the same time. So before you venture out on your trip, I would encourage you to go try have a dinner alone at a local restaurant. Try going outside to the park, having your book, bringing it, reading outside alone, getting used to doing things fully alone so that it isn't so much of a shock when you actually get to your destination. And so instead of doing what I did, which is getting to a destination and realizing, oh my god, I have to have dinner all by myself, I'm in this country all by myself, you can instead think, oh, I have to have dinner all by myself, but I have done that before. It wasn't scary back home, it shouldn't be scary here. Next is really do your research and plan your trip because no one else will do this for you. As someone who's been in a relationship for a long time and prior to that only traveled with friends and family, going on a solo trip really was the first time where I planned everything by myself and I could just wing it and wait for someone else to figure it out. And one of the reasons why this is so important is when you're solo traveling, you don't have the safety in numbers or safety in a partner that you do when traveling with other people. So things that might be safe for you to do with a group or with your partner might not be fully safe for you to do alone. So just make sure you do your research on where you're gonna go, on your hotel, how you're getting to and from the airport, public transport, all of that, just to be on the safe side. And speaking of safe, let's talk about a couple tips on actually staying safe while solo traveling. I'm gonna speak a little bit more on this because as someone who's solo traveled now for 3 years and I've done a lot of trips and I've always felt really safe, there's a couple of things that I've just always made sure, and maybe they seem a little bit extra, but they've always helped me both stay safe and feel safe on my trips, which I think is the most important thing you can do, because as a female solo traveler, I do think we have to take precautions that not everyone else always have to take, and that's both to be safe but also to feel safe. And I think both of those are equally important because if you constantly feel anxious, scared to go out, like someone's gonna hurt you, then that's gonna ruin the rest of your solo trip even if nothing ever happens to you. So I'll take you through kind of a couple things that I like to do, tips and hacks that I found helps me feel safe. And it's really important to me that solo travel isn't perceived as scary because I inherently don't think it is, but that still doesn't mean we shouldn't take precautions because you just always want to lean on the safe side. And the first little hack or tip you can do to make sure you feel safe is choosing your destination and the city in your destination very wisely. Do a little Google search. Is this place safe for women? What are the cultural norms towards women? How walkable is this city? How safe is the city at night? Another thing I like to do as well is just checking how many solo female travelers often visit this place because number one, that's a good indication of how safe it is. And two, it's also good to know that there will be other female solo travelers when you're there. Maybe you can link up with them, speak to them, or just safety and seeing them around. I would also highly recommend choosing a walkable destination. On a solo trip, you definitely don't want to be fully dependent on public transport and definitely not taxis or anything driving you around. So make sure either your city or the place you're going is super walkable. You can get out of your hotel and get to 10 nice restaurants, 10 nice cafes, 10 shops really easily just by walking. Popularity and a lot of tourism is actually not a bad thing when choosing your solo travel destination because you don't want to go somewhere and you're completely alone. Even though that's beautiful, it's not really what I at least would prefer to do on a solo trip because there is safety in numbers. So although it might be more tempting to go on off season when there's almost no one visiting this place or go to a really remote place, I will always choose a place that's generally popular where I can ensure that anytime I'm out and about, there will be other people around me when I'm solo traveling. Having a check-in partner is also something that I would highly recommend if you're solo traveling. Basically just someone that you text every day to update them on what you're doing, where you're going, and if something does happen to you, they'll be the first ones to realize you're not texting at a certain hour, you're not responding to calls, something might be off. Next is making sure that you're always connected, that you always have access to the internet, even when you're outside restaurants or places with Wi-Fi. And for that, I would highly recommend having an eSIM. I personally always just use the Airlo app on my phone for this. This one right there. It's essentially just an eSIM store on your phone where you can buy affordable eSIMs for over 200 countries and destinations. You just choose what country you're traveling to and then how many days and how much data you want to get. And you can also add my code MB20 here for 20% off your first eSIM. And the best part about an eSIM with Airlo is you don't need to change your number, you can keep your previous number and the eSIM, and you can always top up your data if you feel like you're running out. You just absolutely don't want to end up in a situation where you don't know how to get home, you can't get home, you're just stranded somewhere because you literally can't use your data. So highly recommend downloading an eSIM before you go. And if you use my code MB20, you get 20% off your first eSIM with Airlo. It's a limited time offer, but you can actually use the code now and then activate your eSIM and start it later. Next, let's talk about some tips and hacks for travel day. And the first tip should come as no surprise to anyone, but that is please travel light. I feel like this is a chicken and egg question, but I'm honestly not sure whether I started traveling light before I solo traveled or if it's a consequence of solo traveling, but please pack and travel light when you're solo traveling, because when you're on your own, there is no one else to help you with your bags, and you definitely don't want to rely on strangers helping you carry stuff around, lugging it around for you. If you're able to, I would highly recommend you bringing either just a little bag or a carry-on suitcase and then a personal item on top. But if that's too little space for you, you could also bring one roller suitcase and one personal item on top. I would highly recommend not bringing anything more than 2 bags. Shameless plug for Pastel packing cubes here, by the way. They are the best packing cubes on the market, so if you're looking to save some space, maybe get some Pastel. I would also bring a small bum bag or a little crossbody to keep your valuables safe when you're at the airport and even when you're out and about in the city. Because there won't be anyone next to you looking out for pickpockets or seeing if anything suspicious is going on, I would highly recommend just keeping your stuff at the front of your body so you know that no one's touching your stuff, no one's putting their hands in, stealing anything. And something that I've done recently, which has made my life so much easier and so much more satisfying when solo traveling, is pre-booking my travel arrangements from the airport. Trust me, I've had a lot of interesting, uncomfortable situations happen to me when I've landed at my destination and just kind of thought that I could wing how I got to my hotel. That's not always the case in certain places, specifically Tulum, Mexico, where it was either like $300 for a cab to my hotel or a bus that only went every 5 hours, and I was all alone by myself, and I didn't have any plans. Either pre-booking a car service or transportation, or just making sure you have exact plans lined up for how you plan on getting from the airport to your hotel. Next, let's talk about how to actually enjoy being alone on your solo trip. And the first thing I want to share here is just try to enjoy your solo moments. Although I love solo travel, I'm actually naturally a very extroverted person. I get most of my energy from being with other people. And so starting to solo travel, it was honestly quite weird for me to get used to not always talking, not always sharing what I was seeing or like making up a conversation every second of the day, essentially. But once I started getting used to the idea of taking in moments for myself and just enjoying them alone in my mind, taking it in, that in itself almost became a little bit of a special feeling as well, and I've started enjoying it more and more over the years. Enjoying a sunset or going for a swim or just exploring a city completely on your own without talking to anyone is a completely different experience to doing it with someone else and constantly having a conversation going. Both are great, but it is a special feeling to do that on your own, and I really encourage you to sit with that for a minute and take it in, because yes, You might feel the need to fill every moment with something exciting like your phone or a book or just some kind of stimuli, but actually it's really great to just take it in. That being said, it can get boring to be on a solo trip because you don't have anyone to talk to, so I would highly recommend bringing something to keep you busy. That could be a book. I personally really like Sudoku. It could be journaling, maybe listening to an audiobook, something to just activize yourself with when, you know, you're lounging at the beach, or maybe you're at a restaurant and just feeling a little bit bored and need time to go faster. Also, if you're open to it, you can absolutely meet other people when you're solo traveling. I personally love to meet fellow female solo travelers when I'm out and about. It's just such like a full circle moment meeting someone else who decided to go out of their way and go on their own little holiday. Some easy way to do this is either by staying at a hostel, because there's already a lot of people there who are probably solo traveling. You can also just go to a city where there's a lot of female solo travelers in general. That's what I've done, and often I just kind of meet them out and about. It's almost like your eyes open to this new type of person when you're alone, and you kind of just like spot them out of nowhere. I can't explain how this works, but you just kind of like spot fellow solo female travelers when you're traveling. Solo eating is something that I always get questions about, and I think it's definitely one of the more daunting things about solo travel, especially like going to restaurants on your own and having a full-blown meal by yourself. There's a couple of like tips and tricks that I've picked up along the years, which definitely make this a little bit easier. And number one is choosing the right restaurant. Is it a restaurant that people often go to alone? Do they cater to people going alone? For example, do they have a bar area where people often sit like side by side, not necessarily talking to each other? Is it a restaurant that sells full meals, or do they only do sharing plates, because the latter might not be as fit for you because you'll only be able to eat 1 or 2 plates and you can't really share? And also, there is a little bit of a cultural factor here. For example, in Japan, it is so normal to go and eat alone. There's so many restaurants that cater to solo people. I also get a lot of questions about what to actually do with your stuff when you're out and about. For example, when you're at the beach, or when you're at a cafe and you're gonna go swimming, or you're gonna go to the toilet. There's a couple of things that I look for before making a decision. And number one is just the cultural context. So some countries are very prone to theft and pickpocketing. Some literally it is non-existent. I also try to bring just the bare minimum when I'm going out. I only want to bring my core essentials and then stuff that I'm comfortable losing. The safest thing you can do is always just bring your stuff with you. I know there's like bags that you can bring swimming. There's also like little bum bags that you can put your phone, your cards, some cash in, and they're fully waterproof that you can actually swim with. Or you could leave it with a family or a friend group who it looks like they're already looking out for bags for other people. Now, circling back to safety again, let's talk about staying safe during your trip. And the biggest thing you can do here to make sure you feel safe is number one, choosing a safe destination, and number two, choosing a safe accommodation. When it comes to accommodation, I'm definitely on the more careful side. I prefer to only stay in hotels, hostels, and bed and breakfasts where there's a 24-hour reception. And maybe that sounds a bit excessive, but I personally know what it takes for me to feel safe and sound at night, and having a 24-hour reception, concierge, basically someone protecting the entry from the street into where I'm sleeping, sound at night, is just really important for me. Always, always, always read the reviews of where you're gonna stay. Also, in terms of budget, I would always budget for a little bit more for my accommodation on solo trips, whereas when I'm actually traveling with friends, because often I find that the hotels I might be comfortable staying with other people is not the same hotels or accommodation that I would be comfortable staying in alone. And also a little hack here to make sure the area around your hotel is safe for solo travelers is go on Google Street View and just like walk around where you're gonna stay. Does the street look safe? Would I feel scared here at night? Some questions to ask yourself. The time of day where I often feel the most scared or anxious when I'm solo traveling is right before I'm going to bed. I have the same feeling, by the way, when I'm home alone in my flat. That's just how I am. But if you're the same, I would highly recommend having a little routine that you do before you go to bed. So for example, checking that all the windows and doors are locked, pulling out the curtains, then going over to your front door, locking it with both locks so you're safe in your room, texting your check-in buddy that you're safe and about to go to bed. Little things like that. When it comes to going about on your day, bopping around the city, one thing I would recommend is just walking with confidence. Walking with confidence and looking like you know where you're going, it's just gonna prevent people from taking advantage of someone, you know, being in a new place, not knowing anyone, being there by themselves. You might not actually know where you're going, but that's fine. Every place that I've solo traveled to, I've been for the first time by myself, and I never know where I'm going, but I always walk with confidence. And if I feel like I'm in the wrong place, I'll go into a cafe or just like stop quickly, look at my phone, and then walk with confidence back where I came from or in another direction. And also following on to that, just making sure that when you're out and about, there's always people around you, makes you feel more safe and also ensures you're safe, because if anything is to happen to you, you're not fully alone. People can hear you. One thing I always do as well is just making sure I have a backup plan for getting home, especially for day trips or longer travels where I'm dependent on public transportation or a taxi or just someone driving me. So questions to ask yourself would be like, what do you do if your phone dies? Do you have a spare battery? What if your card gets stolen or lost? Do you have cash on you? Making sure you just always have a backup plan for getting home and getting back safe. And finally, please don't post fully in real time. Don't post any videos or photos from your hotel before after you've left. Don't post any photos or videos from a restaurant you're eating at while you're still there. Wait till after you've left. Don't post your travel plans or full itinerary before you've left to make sure no one is following you or could predict where you're going. And also on that, maybe I'm just on the very careful side, but I would also not tell anyone that I meet in person on my trips what all my travel plans are, where I'm actually staying in that destination. Even though they might sound really friendly, you just never know the real intentions of people. And that was my final tip. If you have any further questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And also, if you have any tips from your own solo travels, please leave them below so we can have a little conversation going. I really hope this video was helpful and I wish you the very best on your next solo travel. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye!